Just when I think that I don't have another video topic to discuss in the Tradwife React series, something comes along for us to talk about. And today that is Patriarchy Hannah, the woman that has made headlines in major news articles for being a fake tradwife. Let's talk about it. But before we get into today's video, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to all of the members of my channel who have helped me put out more consistent content by becoming members. It truly does support the channel. For those of you who have subscribed, have hit the like button, left your comments, all of these things do help spread my message, and I am so grateful for all of you. So anyway, Patriarchy Hannah, she had a profile on X, and I am not very familiar with X, even though I have a profile on there. I kind of stopped posting a while ago. It's just not necessarily for me with the heavy political tone that goes on over there. It just stresses me out a little bit. So I'm not that familiar with her profile in general, and especially because it's deleted now. But from what I gathered, she presented herself as having 14 kids. Her husband was a blue collar business owner that built her a house, a homestead in what they called Tonytown, and her husband's name Tony, so that was the link between Tonytown. Well, anyway, somebody exposed her for essentially having a fake profile. She also had a podcast where she would talk about traditional wife homemaking topics, and of course she would touch on concepts of the patriarchy, being pro-patriarchy, hence her name Patriarchy Hannah. There were women that came out of the woodwork saying like, no, she's real because I talked to her on the phone, I've been listening to her podcast, I've engaged with her, this is a real woman. However, as the evidence emerged, it was pretty damning, and she ended up being exposed for being a woman who had fetish links and living with her parents, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. She was exposed as being a single woman living with her parents and not indeed the homesteader owner that is married to Tony, not married at all. There were mixed reactions on this. A few people saying like, what did you expect? This is the internet. You can't totally trust people. And others just being so disheartened because this is somebody that they confided in, somebody that they even considered an online friend. And for others, it fueled their conspiracy in the tradwife niche as a whole. So now let's get into a couple thoughts that I had off the top of my head, as this is more so of a blind reaction, authentic type of series. The first thing is that the name like Patriarchy Hannah honestly eludes corn links, like OnlyFans page links. And I'm not surprised this person was linked to having a fetish account. And anybody who lives more of a traditional homemaker lifestyle and has a profile online that is more of the tradwifey genre, such as myself, I have never really seen any of them use like patriarchy whatever in their names, or like something that would elude a corn type of association. In a traditional lifestyle, of course, there are positives when it comes to talking about the patriarchy and femininity, but that is just like a very pigeonholed perspective. And the traditional femininity community as a whole is a pro-woman community, so that's what many of the creators like to focus on, women in this community rather than the men of the community. Also, a few people came out with skepticisms that they had in the past that kind of resonated when she was exposed, such as her kids in the background, never hearing them or like never seeing her kids. And I know a lot of people don't like to put their kids on the internet. You rarely see my children, but for like 95% of the content, I'm even looking at my child right now, like climbing on something that I put out, you are going to hear my kids once in a while in the background. That is just how it goes. Even if I were to have somebody watching my kids while I did these videos, you'd probably hear that they are present in my life. That would be something that you would see in the background. So of course it raised red flags. Even not seeing her husband as well in the background raised some red flags for people as well, and that is totally normal. When you look for inspiration online for content creators, I think, at least for me, it's been important to see some sort of like tangible proof of like, are they living the lifestyle that they preach online? However, that also juxtaposes to what some people had said, that you can't totally expect complete honesty from online because you're only seeing a snippet of somebody's life, and you can't even assume that they are telling the truth. And that is 100% correct. Even when you are consuming my content, even though I'm not lying to you on this channel, you still have to have an allure of skepticism with everything that you consume online. And I find that mainstream media, like when they grasp onto like a little bit of nuance or like something that they can prove is not trad wifey, they tend to overblow it. And that's of course what happened with Patriarchy Hannah, because they do have a certain narrative, take any outlier, crazy person situation and like try to trash the niche as a whole. And of course, in that instance, I say that if you are drawn to more traditional femininity content and you do see something that doesn't totally align with your beliefs, understand that that is normal. We have become more so like cultish in our society, where we feel as though the content that we consume has to align perfectly with every single thing that we live and that we believe in. And it never used to be like that, like 10, 15 years ago. And I think that going down this path is a little bit dangerous. If you actually look at many content creators who have been making more like traditional wife content for several years, and you actually listen to them, you will see that they are pretty balanced. I like to at least consider myself pretty balanced in being understanding to various points of view, because that is how I came towards carving out my lifestyle and my beliefs, by being open, by questioning. So that is something that I'm continuously doing, and that is something that I will always advocate for everybody else to do as well. And because I just filmed a video where I talked about 80-20, I will carry that principle forward. When you see somebody extremely rigid and more so fetishy with regards to, any type of lifestyle, that is not as balanced as somebody seeking an 80-20 perspective. And that is what I try to balance in my life as well. Like even telling you down to the most simplest things, like wear dresses. 20% of the time, like when I go grocery shopping or I'm about to go on a bike ride and it's super warm outside with my kids, I'm wearing a nice pink top, but I'm actually wearing biker shorts so that, of course, I don't expose people. But when I come back in the evening, I will probably change back into a dress, try to look more put together. Everything is balanced, and a true traditional lifestyle is something that is balanced and not culty. And it's such a shame that the media has this agenda that they want to just sensationalize people who talk about like cherishing motherhood, liking their role as a more submissive wife, thriving in more traditional gender roles, that they always tend to grasp onto these frankly weirdos. And unfortunately, this has also caused for people who have been making this content, who live more of a genuine balanced life, to have stepped back from using the word traditional wife. I never came online to make a lot of money or anything like that or be super popular, but if I were to have rebranded myself as a much more milder version, I would have had probably more success. But I'm a stubborn person, so like even in the reel that I recently made, I would rather fight against the extreme, frankly the select few weirdos who are most likely fake, in order to preserve the integrity of what it means to be a traditional feminine wife and mother. You're not going to be bullying me out of using the term traditional wife, because I have nothing to hide as for who I am. Those who have met me in real life know that, what you see in front of the camera is what you also get in real life. And this lifestyle has worked and brought me so much joy. So I will not stop advocating for a balanced approach to this lifestyle and helping all of you get there. Let me know your thoughts down below on the Patriarchy Hannah situation. I would love to hear it. As always, I welcome discussion, even if you agree or disagree with me, as long as it's respectful. Let's chat. See you next time. Bye-bye.